evening, everybody. It's the old wolf kid here again for another episode of the Witch and Wolf podcast. Shiya had everything set up all screwy from the last time she did it. So I apologize for that little bit of reverby feedback. Never trust a witch with technology. You just can't help yourself.
No, I can't.
You can't.
I really can't.
But yes.
Must fuck with shit.
Must fuck with shit. We're back.
That is the witch's wisdom for today.
Yeah, welcome to live podcasting.
Witch must fuck with shit.
Raw. It's organic.
Yeah.
It's moist. All those beautiful things. So yes, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday, August 2nd. Erica Joe, welcome. You're our first contestant.
Hello, Erica.
So yeah, this is the little thing that I've been doing now for just about a year. 2 weeks from now, it'll be exactly a year since we started the podcast. Tiffany got a new job today. Congratulations.
Woo, Tiffany.
Pam, welcome. Hi to you. Hi to everybody out there. Thank you for joining us again. Tonight's episode, a cracked barrel. It's got a couple different analogies and we'll get into that a little bit later. As always, we always like to start off the shows with, the people around us, people that support us, the people that we support. The big thing coming up again is the Under My Skin for Life Foundation Annual Arts for Autism. September 17th, 2022. It's going to be at the VFW Post 2179. Veterans Lane, which is Route 36 there in Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, right there on the Jersey Shore.
Whoop, whoop. Hey, it's a lot of fun down there.
Fucking beautiful. It's going to be a motorcycle run, bike run beforehand. That'll run to the event. It's going to be vendors, music, raffles, live wrestling from WXW Wrestling, guys like Gene Snitsky, Samu Inoue. We've got all kinds of interesting music, personality. Jose Hernandez Jr. has been a supporter for a good number of years. Great guy. He's going to be out there again, as well as Samu, Gene Snitsky, and others. A lot of bands, myself included, within the Pocket Full of Wolves. My brother Tony Rodriguez and Broken Past. Guys like Mark Myers, Spawn Ranch, Solos Borges. Going to be some great music. Now, it's a pre-rat in conjunction with the local rock station down there, WRAT, The Rat Rock 95.9. You can check them out on iHeartRadio as well too. We'll be doing a bunch of promo stuff. The music will be premiering out there. That'll be the first actual FM radio station where at least my music will have been played. And I've known those guys for years. Great guys. We'll be doing a podcast with them before the autism event. That's all coming down the road, but it's going to be a great event. And other things that will be there too that's not on this flyer. And just again, it's just the context that you can't always get everything in there, you know what I mean? So one of the other groups, dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's right.
Dun, dun.
The 501st Northeast Remnant.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let me tell you, these guys are great. They come out in the full-blown setup. They spare no expense in it. They are true fans, within the dynamic of not only what they do, but why they do it. These guys, men and women, they constantly do this for a great cause to help, different charities, be it autism, homeless vets. It's a lot of fun for the kids and the adults. Let me tell you something. As an adult and as a Star Wars fan, I have a blast. We make it a point. There's certain people, that we've interacted with over the years that are just, they're great. So proud to have them joining us again. They will be with this. And, there'll be a couple of other things that'll get announced closer to the date.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But some of the people that we do work with and are part of our circle, I always got to go to my sister, Ashley Hart, Heart's Creations, Dream Catchers with Intention. You can check her out on Facebook.com/Hearts, HARTS -Creations. Really good stuff, real magic. incredibly cheap pricing for, handcrafted, ritualistic beauty. It's artwork.
It's artwork with magic.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. And one of hers will be auctioned off at the autism event.
And mention either myself, Shiya, or the Wolf to get a 25% discount on your first order with her.
Right.
And we say first order because once you get one,
once you get one, you're going to want more.
You're going to want more.
Morning, Judy. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Australia.
So we also have our good friend Suzanne with Mystical Moons. Again, a lot of really good crystal stuff. She does a regular live that really, really nice. She's all kinds of different crystals. Again, really good pricing. Same analogy, just mentioned Shiya and myself. And get 25% off your first order. So you can check her out at facebook.com, Mystical Moons Live. Or you can check her on the web, www.mysticalmoons.com. Again, this is becoming, you know what, I'm going to just start saving your promos, actually, till after I actually see you. And just because you're here, because I got to fuck with you.
She always comes
Ta-da, Hearts Creations again.
Promo.
For anybody who didn't, and because Ashley's here now, and you know what I mean, we can put her on the spot because we love doing that to our family.
We do.
That's right. Dream catchers with intention.
Yes, and we were
They're so beautiful.
We're just talking about how addictive.
Honey, they're just so magical.
They are magical.
She takes all the time. She does these things with her hands.
She does it.
She makes beauty.
Judy, do the thing.
Cheap. Cheap, cheap, cheap.
You could price it.
Let me tell you, she can charge a whole lot fucking more.
She should charge.
We're doing good. Shiya had the allergy run from hell at 4 o'clock this morning, I think it was.
I don't know what the hell time it was.
Yes.
I think it was closer to 5 or 6.
Now, I don't know if that was just jumping from state to state or weather shifts or the planet. It just basically said, we've had enough of you and we're just going to make you all die.
And I sat up for a little while and then tried to crawl back in bed and tossed and turned for another couple hours.
Yeah, that didn't work.
I kind of dozed. I tried. I dozed a little bit.
You dozed a little bit. But then we went out and we took a run. You felt better. We went out to the reservation, saw a good friend of ours there. Incredible guy.
Told us
really good, really connected to the old lore and stuff. Listen, this guy's, he's modern, to the degree that, you know what I mean? He has tattoos. He runs his own business. You know what I mean? He's a father.
Tattoos,
he's worked in construction. Yes, he does have tribal work.
Very traditional tribal.
But he will not use social media.
Right.
He feels that it disconnects people from base interactions and stuff. He respects it. He appreciates and understands it. But he was sharing some really beautiful lore with us earlier. We spent a little time with him, and it was really cool. These are the important things. One of the reasons why I do what I do, kind of spliced in between my insanity, my opinions, and, all the other Dreamcatcher stuff with intention. There are stories, there's lore, there's history. There are things that need to be, in my opinion, preserved, remembered, and
I would just love to sit with some of those elders and hear those stories, because the one that he told us with the dog.
I'm going to see if I can get him to do a remote interview where I'll take the deck out there, I'll record him.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? And then come back and then, put it out there for people. Who knows? Maybe I'll get him to, if we broadcast him there, maybe he'll be more. That way he can sit within the comfort of his own, environment. Listen, again, I'll pass the stories on eventually, one way or the other, but he would be great.
Yeah.
Dreamcatchers with Intention. Check her out, www.facebook.com/heart, and that's heart, HARTS, Creations. Yes, indeed. My sister Ashley.
We love her.
And then finally, but not finally, but next on the list, we have Bobby and Sherry Moonbeam.
Oh, yeah. So one of my mentorship circle members, Christine, got a little chakra bracelet from them, like a stretchy bracelet. And I'll tell you, their stretchy bracelets last forever. But got a stretchy bracelet and did this unboxing video with this 3-year-old opening up this chakra, pulling out the little witchy stickers, and getting so excited she got her chakra bracelet. Oh my God, it was adorable.
Let me tell you, these two are very involved, not only within the community, as we call it, but within the local dynamic.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff that they do. Very active, great all around people. Definitely check them out. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Moonbeams, Seller, the Witch or the Wolf sent you. And again, get 20% off your first order. Even again, you want to get one of them stretchy bracelets or a little necklace for somebody. These little things are the dynamics of supporting each other. It is the core of strength in numbers, so we always try and pass it around.
Now, when I say stretchy bracelets, we're not talking about the cheap ones. We're talking about they will custom make it. They make their own.
I have absolutely no
the defense
knowledge,
against,
so
yes,
you're the
your defense against dark arts bracelet. That's from them.
That's from them. Cool.
They made that one.
Yeah, I just mean that I don't know enough about it to speak at all. I will defer to you and be like, okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, you know that bracelet does not break, and you've put it through some hell, and I put it through some hell.
Yes, and listen, anybody that knows me knows that jewelry does not work well. I have broken so many things. I literally had an amulet explode on my chest.
How'd you explode an amulet?
We don't understand it. We don't talk about it.
What kind of amulet was it?
It was a piece of raw emerald.
Oh, you might have that might have been a defense against the dark arts kind of thing.
Just saying.
Maybe we should start calling you Dumbledore.
I don't know. Listen, I suppose if the wizard hat fits, Gryffindor. Angela, hello, welcome. Hello to everybody. Hello. But yes, check them out, Moonbeams.
Yep.
Now, again, we got to do an updated graphic for them because I believe they have a new site, right?
They have a new store, but I don't know that they've taken pictures. I'll poke them with the.
We'll have to get some updated stuff.
They're one of my favorite couples, and not just because I married them.
Listen, they're great people. We love them. Last but not least, my brother Tattoo Tony Rodriguez of the aforementioned Arts for Autism event. He is the founder and leader of the Under My Skin for Life Foundation. No coincidence.
One of my favorite people right now.
He is the primary artist, owner, proprietor of Tattoo Tony's Under My Skin tattoo shop in the Atlantic Highlands, and is award-winning, no joke, an award-winning tattoo shop. Tony is an award-winning tattoo artist. Been in all the magazines, done all kinds of famous people. And again, we don't throw the names out there because Tony's actually going to come on. He's going to do the podcast.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to let him tell some of those dynamics to whatever degree. But I can tell you this. If you go down to Tony's shop in Atlantic Highlands, you will see it. You will see all the pictures and the autographs and the memorabilia.
Tattoo shops I've ever been.
It is. The shop itself is an adventure onto itself.
It really is. It's so cool.
Now, this is the same place that he runs, the Papo Sticker Company, which he can basically take any pretty concept that you have and turn it into something. So if you want to take a picture of your dog's ass and turn it into a crack pipe, he can do that. Now, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. And I'm not suggesting that you should smoke crack. I'm just saying you're only limited by your measure. Like, he can do patches for vests. He can do bumper stickers. He can do custom embroidery, like on a hat or a scarf. He can make custom mugs, custom t-shirts. The sweatshirt, the custom sweatshirt that Ash won back in the beginning of the year was a custom designed, one-of-a-kind sweatshirt that was done within a mystical theme that Tony, did the artwork and then converted it into making it into a sweatshirt.
But not
Tony's an all-around guy. And
I love his art so much.
Well, we'll get to that. Okay. Listen, you're all just like jumping the gun. You're just like you're like a child at a candy store.
We've said
I know, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah, totally.
But not only that, Tony is the bass player and pretty much the core of the band Broken Past. Great bunch of guys. They'll be performing at the autism event. And not only that, Tony's a single dad. This is a guy that dances many ends of the spectrum. Doesn't just talk about it. He fucking walks the walk. Now, am I emotionally compromised? Of course I am. I've known this guy for a number of years. He's a great guy. I consider him a brother. He's family. You know what I mean? My son loves him. You know what I mean? We love his son. You know what I mean?
I didn't know this guy from Adam, and now I love him too.
Yeah. Well, he's easy to love. He's a good guy. But he does all these things, and all these things are really, within the scope very, very incredibly good prices, especially within the Papo Sticker Company. Nowhere else are you going to get a custom T-shirt or a custom mug or any of that type of custom dynamic for the type of prices that Tony charges. And Tony charges it that way because he has everything in his shop in-house.
Yep.
So he doesn't have to send it off to fucking Taiwan somewhere.
Nope.
And then wait for 6 months for it to come back and the shipping and all
when
the
you
other
buy
bullshit.
from there, you're literally making a difference for a single
He works
father.
within the dynamics right there in his shop.
Hires locally, gives back locally with the charity.
Tony, that's the foundation's been doing that for a number of years, which is why me and the monkey have been members for years. All right, so now we're going to get to your time. I can just see you. You're just fucking impatient. You're twitching in your skin.
I'm twitching.
We went down the other day, and Tony graciously, you know what I mean, gave Shiya something that she has wanted for many, many years.
35 years I've wanted to have.
35 years? Hasn't really been that long.
Yeah, well, that's when I became a witch. And that's, wanted a mark even then on my body. And
so there it is.
There it is.
There's some custom artwork, tattoo.
That's my arm.
All the line work and everything is done because of the size of the pieces. You can see it covers up a good part of Shiya's arm.
Yep, kind of wraps around.
But all the color needs to be done. This will be colored the end of August when we go back down.
I'm so excited.
Now, again, obviously, it's all about me because there it is. I'm the center. I'm the wolf.
You're the
right?
wolf.
It's all about me.
It's all about you.
Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Well, basically, if you see the pentagram on there, which is earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, and of course the circle where all are welcome and all are one. But also, not just the pentagram, it also goes into the triple moon goddess symbol, maiden, mother, crone. Wolf is one of my totems, and no coincidence, I got me an old wolf. And this is from a magic salt bowl that I've done most of my protective salt bowls in over the last 20 some odd years, and somehow that bowl's never gotten broken, and I love that image, so that was the inspiration for which wolf it was, howling at the moon there. And of course, you know me and the moon. No
coincidence, right?
Yeah. So lots of stuff wrapped in there. And the fact that the tattoo or the pentagram and the moon symbol are living vine. They are still connected.
They have yet to be colored in, so those dynamics will stand out more. Right. Anybody who's ever had a tattoo or knows the tattoo process, that your first stage is again all your line work and creating the image
and shading. Yep.
And that takes a good amount of time. Shiya was, I think you were in the chair for what, 3.5 hours?
Yeah, give or take, because we took a couple of breaks. But
so again,
he didn't even hurt. I mean,
that's because he not only is he a professional, but he understands the dynamics of how. It's not just about taking a pen and drawing something on somebody.
No.
Tattoo artistry, for lack of a better way to put it. And I'll let him talk more about this. But there are specific skill sets that are required.
Well, he doesn't.
And they're empathy gauged because you have to read the person. And you have to instinctively react to certain dynamics, not only within their energy, but within their body.
Yep.
In now creating symbolism, if you will, creating magic, which is really where body art came out of. That is the history of tattooing, of body art. They have mystical and magical dynamics.
Hey, Pauline.
Welcome. So yes,
I've always wanted something on me, specifically a tattoo of some kind, showing my path and my commitment to my path. Since I dedicated it was self-dedication 35 years ago, and then 2 years after that was when I joined my coven. But I've always wanted something that said this is truly my path, my commitment. To the old ways.
The crowd approves.
There you go.
I don't know what to say beyond that. Yes. Listen, this is a very personal dynamic. I've spoken about it before. And again, like most things in life, it is reflective of the individual. Like a lot of things, some dynamics get stereotyped. Some people feel one way about it, others feel another way about it. But in the end, and I know for you, it represents not only, frameworks of your past, your present, and your future within the dynamics of who you are.
Exactly, and that's part of the triple goddess symbol, the maiden mother crone. It embraces all aspects of life, and the transitions and the things that we learn during those transitions,
I can't wait to see this with the color. The colors are going to make this fucking thing explode.
It's gonna pop. I mean, it's already beautiful, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is so great."
You'll get to show it off at the autism event,
and you wouldn't know, honestly, that this was an unfinished tattoo. Looking at it, it looks like it's a completed tattoo, and it's just going to get better.
It looks like what some would refer to within tribal, or within, that kind of, that black and white grayscale dynamic that a lot of people, like, and, rightfully so. Again, it's personal taste, personal choice,
Mm-hmm.
There are many different styles out there. I tend to reflect more of an older school dynamic, but Tony, again, is gifted enough that he translates the individual. So he literally sits down with you and says, hey, what do you want? How do we create this? And he'll create that art, and he'll sit there and he'll work it on his, he's got one of those Surface Pro
tablet
thing where, he can do all those graphical art
and I just
dynamics.
gave him my concept and showed him a picture of my salt bowl, and this is exactly what he came up with. And he's like, okay, you want the moons normal? You want him with the vine thing? I want him with the vine thing. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Here, beep, beep, beep. Oh, my gosh. And then he puts it on my arm with the stencil. And I'm like, I think it looks okay. But, of course, I'm not looking at it from an outside perspective. He's like, nope, it's not perfect yet. Rubs it all off, puts it back on, and tells
there's the dynamic of the human body of having elements centered for balance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's the same element within chakras and how they align, and so there is a dynamic. There's a method to the madness.
Well, I will tell you, he is an amazing artist.
Yes, he is
an amazing artist.
And listen, he is the kind of guy that again, if you're down in the Jersey Shore area, reach out. Go down, check it out. A lot of people think, oh, it's going to cost me thousands of. No, it's going to cost a little bit of money. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to go in there and get a $20 tattoo.
No.
But you could go in there and you could spend $100, for a basic type of thing. If if you wanted something basic and cute or that type of thing, or you could spend several $100s and walk out with, an incredible piece. There are a lot of dynamics.
Or you can just spend a couple of dollars and get some of his new aftercare stuff.
You can get his aftercare. You can get some of his custom, work. He's got custom T-shirts. He's got custom lighters.
Yeah.
Custom keychains. All kinds of stuff that he does there right in the shop.
Can I talk about his aftercare for a second?
No, you can't actually, because that's going to be a whole nother time. Because I want to be able to have something to put up there so people who can. Oh. So yeah, we'll just let that float out there.
Okay.
But it's good aftercare, and it's definitely helping you take care of the tattoo. You're not having any problems. You're a happy witch, right?
I'm a thrilled witch.
You're a happy witch.
I'm a thrilled witch.
No, I think you're just happy.
No, I'm thrilled.
I said you're happy.
I said I'm thrilled. Don't gaslight me, dude. You're canceled.
Ooh.
Oh, watch out, I'll stick you in a voodoo doll or something.
Well, that was a great show, folks. Don't know when I'll be now. But that, again, brings me kind of segued around a little bit into the dynamic of tonight's episode. Aptly, I have called a cracked barrel. And I thought about this, and I'm just going to keep the event page up there for people who actually watch the damn thing for the Arts for Autism event, but I'm going to talk about other stuff. I thought about it, with the last podcast that we had done, we were talking about even Stranger Things. And one of the beauties I have found, and one of the things I really enjoy about this, are the dynamics that everybody else brings to the table. We have experiences, stories, insights, whatever you want to call them. And they lead to really, I believe, great interactions. And I thought about it, and I talked to Shiya, and I was like, you know what? I want to open this up. I want to, while I can, you know what I mean? When, we have the type of numbers, to be honest, within the live dynamic that I actually can, do those interactions. I've talked about it before. So we're going to create a dynamic, and we're simply going to call it the fucking wolf pack. And basically what it is that anybody who's inclined, if you've gone through some experience or you saw some fucking wacko shit or a wacko story and you want to submit it in and you're like, hey, let's talk about this. Well, we're going to talk about it. And I'll use our friend Suzanne's analogy. We call her the Beaver Queen. She gifted us with the dynamic of where artificial vanilla came from. And that's become now like a cornerstone of some of the comedy that we talk about. And there have been other analogies. We have Chanel, who's the Goblin Queen with her kids. And then we have Diana, who is the Ewok Queen because of her Kung Fu skills.
Well, actually, I think she's moved into being the Alien Queen now.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, these dynamics they're real. You know what I mean? They're, in many ways, the purest form I have found of the human dynamic. You know what I mean? And there's so much, stuff that goes on. Now, I like to always, again, find the deeper comedy within things, but it doesn't always necessarily. Listen, sometimes we have to talk about serious shit when serious shit goes down, especially if I get triggered within, some fucked up Scientology type of, and my sister Chan's like she's the Cancer Queen.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Chan. See, now that's a great analogy. Only Jan can come out here after everything she's gone through and just wear that and be like, you know what? Fuck cancer. I love it. Thank you, honey.
Yeah.
Thank you. Seriously. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure I really want you to continually carry that particular title because I want the fucking cancer to fucking die.
So she will be the cancer warrior.
No, listen, once she beats it, we have to find her like a good tribal, you know what I mean? Like Queen of the Amazons or, like something that will give it definitive element. Because I believe it in my heart, and that's where I'm going to fucking, that's my final answer, as they say, you're going to fucking beat this.
Pauline, yes, the Arts for Autism event.
Yes, the Arts for Autism.
For autism, yes.
Yes, to segue really quick. The Under My Skin for Life Foundation, we are a registered 501c3. Tony started it about 13 years ago to raise awareness and obviously raise money for local aspects in the Jersey Shore area for kids with autism. This year's proceeds are going to what's called Oasis Farms. Oasis Farms is a school for kids and young adults with autism that they have programs. Some of them are, life work type dynamics, and some of them are, designed kind of almost like summer camp, where, they get to explore different dynamics of art and music, or, again, trying to create, the best way to put this is a more supportive environment.
And provide some things that are good memories and help.
Yes, well,
with kids and stuff like that too. That they get those interactions in a way that they have accommodations and understanding, and
Listen, this is a dynamic, and I preach a lot about this. Autism, unfortunately, is one of those fucking stigma stereotypes that gets slapped around. And is it a real thing? Yes. Obviously. But these are still people. They're human beings, and especially within the children, they have beautiful dynamics. They're just operating on a different frequency, for lack of a better way to put it.
Maybe even a higher frequency.
We have found over the years that, they can engage. They have a lot to offer. And, I mean, again, I'm not going to lie, there are children, you know what I mean? Even if it's not your biological child, this is the world that we live in. And I use the analogy, if we don't take care of each other, who the fuck is going to do it? So for many years, the Under My Skin for Life Foundation has done different types of events. A lot of them have been music oriented because we are musicians, a lot of us. Pauline, listen, if you would like to
reach out to
donate,
me
I
and I'll
can,
put-
if you're watching, I'm going to put up a graphic for you for somebody that you can actually contact within our board. So bear with me 1 second while I slide there. Yep, vendors. Okay, so the details are right there. There is a phone number that you can text. Her name is Ryan. She's one of our board members. We call them the 5 because there's 5 board members. But she's one of our board members. Her number is up on the screen. You know, she has this posted up on social media, and she's graciously allowed this in, you know, the context of doing what we do to try and raise money and awareness. So yeah, anybody that would like to do that, please feel free to reach out and, you know, contact her, you know, and, you know, every little thing that you can do helps. It's not always just about the money. You know, some of it is just the dynamic of, you know, social media sharing, which is why we always do the like and share and support thing. We do, as an example, every year we do a big auction. And in that auction, we have a lot of signed memorabilia, guitars, drumsticks, albums, T-shirts from many different bands and musicians, actors, actresses, wrestlers. You see where I'm going. So even though they may not necessarily be able to come out and support the event, they support it in different ways. And, you know, we've had a signed guitar by Loretta Lynn. We've had signed guitars from Leonard Skinner, Marshall Tucker Band. We've had signed memorabilia from guys like Bret Michaels, wrestlers, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Gene Snitsky, Jose Hernandez Jr., you know, guys that are going to be out there this year. So it is a community effort. And we do, you know, again, to the best of our ability, our motto is helping those in time of need. So we don't always just do autism. You know, we do a lot of programs for like homeless vets. One of our board members, and he is a membership circle member and all around brother. We call him Fat Ass, but he's also known as Chris Seringer out here in social media land. But he's also a board member, and he works with the Hero Sports, which is for wounded vets. And our foundation, directly and indirectly, will support different events when they're in the area. So there's a lot of different things that go on. We do the cancer ward at the local hospitals every year with toy drives. You know what I mean? So, again, where we can do things, we try and do it. I'll use an analogy because I have permission, and I'll announce it. The guys that are forming my band, Pocketful of Wolves, are some people that I've known for many years. Greg Schumann, again, I've mentioned this. I've known him for well over 30 years. He was best man when I was married way back in the day. He and I have a lot of history together. His beautiful lady, Jeanette, has a young son.
Shout out to Jeanette.
Yes, indeed, Jeanette. Yep, that's for you, honey. But she has a great little boy. Mm-hmm. Okay? And he is known as Wick. Like John Wick, but not John Wick, because we don't do that violence thing. But he's Wick.
Just Wick.
Just Wick. He's a great kid. He's going to come up and he's going to sing a Nirvana song with us because he loves Nirvana. Mm-hmm. And even though he has been, you know, classified within certain dynamics of autism spectrum, he's still an incredible, interactive kid that's capable of doing all the same types of things. So this, in many ways, for us, is personal. Yeah. You know what I mean? These are the people in our lives. One of the best experiences of my life, one of my bucket list, you know, elements was, you know, be able to perform live with my son, and I've been able to do that many times. You know, so for Greg and them to be able to have Wick come up and perform and do that kind of thing, it's empowering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a family dynamic. It's a community dynamic. It's a lot of fun. And you know what? I'm gonna do this really quick now. I'm gonna throw a little bit because we were down there, like I said the other day, and we did There's Bruce. And there's Jeanette.
Hey, Jeanette.
Hey, Jeanette.
It's pretty.
And there we are. Since we're talking about them, that's Jeanette and Wick. Now, Wick was wearing the headphones. Wick was fucking smart about this.
He was.
Because let me tell you, between me, Greg, and Bruce,
y'all loud.
Holy shit, we're fucking loud.
Y'all loud.
Okay, we're some rock and roll players.
Awesome.
We're loud.
But it's loud.
That's just what we
I
do.
have to go and get earphones.
Right. Now there's a shot of us in the studio, and there's a guy up there. And there's a guy who'll be performing with us. He's going to come up from Virginia. Jim Beck, who was original singer with Broken Past when me and my son were in the band with Tony. We're still all, good friends. We still all interact, but he's going to come up and he's going to sing with us. So he was up there to get a little in. There's a little bit more of Jim with us, just having some fun. A little bit more of that, yes, indeed. Oh, yes, there's a little bit more of Bruce. Oh, we'll skip past me. No, yeah. See, there's me who is setting up Wick. Wick's up there. He's like, and you can see Wick is wearing one of the first Pocket Full of Wolves t-shirts. Yes, indeed, that's right. There are going to be some t-shirts that'll be floating out. Not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but that is actually a thing. And there you can see him up there. He got right in there. I got to tell you. I was impressed, you know what I mean? And there he is, with Greg. He's right in there singing, and he didn't really even, he had to glance a little bit at the words here and there. I think it was more the dynamic of everyone around him, you know what I mean, more so. Because once he relaxed, he knew those fucking words, and he was in there. He was channeling, he was channeling that inner nirvana. You know what I mean? And it was fucking cool. You know what I mean? It's one of the reasons we do this. There's a little bit more there of them. Yeah, we'll skip past me. I fucking hate that. There's Greg. Yes. The ghost of Uncle Joe's. A little bit. And Violet, it's great that you're here. We're here. We're all here.
Yeah, I told her about your dog comment.
What's that?
The dog comment I told you about on Monday night, last night. That because I told you the story about how we were talking about being sensitive to weather shifts.
Oh,
okay.
Like a dog. I was like,
like a dog. Now you remember.
Woof.
Woof, woof.
Yeah, there. He had a little, again, and he did great. He really did.
There's Greg.
He did great. Now there's my buddy Jim, and I just have to focus in on him for a moment because he's, he's a military guy, ex-Marine. Got a heart of gold, don't get me wrong.
He was kind of caught in that moment.
Got his arms crossed like, yeah, rock and roll.
Evaluating.
Now again, he can sing. Okay, really he can. And, he has been a member of the foundation for many years and, has been involved in dealing with these things. And, he does a lot of stuff, down in Virginia where he lives now.
Yeah. Within
his communities and stuff. So these are all really, really good people. Just Jim. Just for you, my brother. So that's kind of what's going on, as they say.
I think I took some damn good photos of you. You should show off my artwork.
Yes, you did some great photos. I don't like focusing on myself. You know that about me. I'm just like,
focus on, isn't this a great picture? Try it. Yeah. That way it's about me and not about you. And then
Stephen Violet says, we don't even remember why we said what we said. Oh, yeah, laugh out loud. Fuck it. Who cares? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway. So, Arts for Autism, September 17, 2022. See, boys and girls, this is how we deflect. Okay, we just take it and we just be like a ping pong ball, just over there. Yeah.
So anyway, there's some awesome pictures of this really awesome dude that I happen to think is amazing.
Alert! Trigger! Alert! Trigger!
You're cheating. You're cheating. That's cheating.
I'm the king of deflection. Listen, here it is. High-functioning empaths. Great at helping everybody else out. We fuck when it comes to trying to help ourselves. I don't want to hear it. This is not the Analyze the Wolf show.
No, it's not.
This is called a cracked barrel, and I'm going to get into the dynamics of my show.
I've got to deflect.
You can go spew that shit on you. That's why everybody should join the mentorship circle so you can talk about me behind my back. There you
You're
go.
in the
There's your
mentorship circle,
incentive.
so it's not behind your
I know
back.
I'm in the mentorship circle. You're right. So it
Yeah,
technically is
it's
behind my
not
back.
officially behind your
Fine.
back.
You can say it to my face in the membership circle.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
All right, cool. I don't know why I said that either. See, Val and I are on the same page. We don't know what the fuck's going on. We're here.
Well,
We're rolling with it.
Ahem.
You trying to say something?
No, I'm trying to clear my throat.
Oh, you're trying. She's actually trying to clear her throat.
When have I ever used throat clearing as getting your attention?
I don't know. I don't remember. A cracked barrel is my subtle play on words based on an experience that we had Saturday evening coming back home. And
I'm running away now.
let me first off and kind of qualify this. I believe in the dynamic of simple truth. So if something is what it is, people deserve to hear that. Now, it's not that I want to come out and be like, hey, let's just blast something, let's cancel something. But I believe certain dynamics really do need to get called out. So rather than use their... Also, too, I didn't want to open the door and, hey, you're going to put us down, you can't use our name.
We have a former employee of theirs on now.
Oh, we have a former... Okay, well, the former employee will understand this dynamic. So we went to a cracked barrel.
Cracker barrel.
Don't say it.
Oh.
You're going to get us canceled.
Okay.
We went to a cracked barrel. Now, I got to tell you, first dynamic walking in, some really obscure country tune was going off, in the background, very twangy. You know what I mean? And I will say this, the people that worked there were great. They really were. I can't say enough about the dynamics of the service. The service itself within the people was really good. Okay? But walking into the place was definitely a trippy, freaky kind of, I wasn't sure if I had, walked onto the set of Bonanza. You know what I mean? Was this going to be Django Unchained? You know what I mean? Where they're going to be, bounty hunters and shit. Because, again, you got this big open area with this big, huge hearth. And right over it's just, this old black powder musket that could, blow a hole in a fucking...
brick wall.
An elephant from, a fucking 100 yards away. Of course, you had the American flag. And just this really kind of old world snapshot.
Motif.
But it was fucking creepy. For me, it was just wow, these are a lot of crazy looking white people, more white people. Let me tell you, it was definitely cracker. Well, that's kind. I had never been there.
I have.
Jen's already Cracker Barrel sucks. Well,
I have been there many times, and the ones that I had in Texas were always really good. Had some good, some of the best.
This was again.
I love the
humbly
dumplings.
When you advertise certain things, there are certain things, in my humble opinion,
Southern cooking,
that if you can't get that part of it right, you got no fucking business. Hey, Melissa, welcome.
Hey, Melissa.
AKA, okay, corn muffins, okay? If you can't, cornbread, corn muffins, whatever the fuck you want to call it, if you can't make a fucking corn muffin, you have a problem, okay? And let me tell you, I make corn muffins, and I don't know what the fuck this thing was, but it was not.
It was
not a corn muffin.
It was like eating soft sand.
I think it was like a flavored biscuit disguised.
Honestly, I thought it was kind of more flavorless.
I went for the old school classic. All right, let me get the country fried steak, and it came out. And traditionally that's a white gravy. It's a Southern gravy. And let me tell you, my gravy,
sloppy.
It looked like mashed potatoes. It was just like a white gelatinous mass that literally, I could have flipped the plate upside down and it would have probably not moved. It would have stuck
And
to
very
it.
probable.
It had, and again, I understand that some gravies are thick, but gravy is still gravy. It had no fucking... The whole thing was just like, oh my God, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This is the type of shit that I imagine the guys in prison get served.
Now, you did like the turnip greens with the turkey.
The turnip, yeah, but it's kind of hard to fuck up turnip greens. I mean, really. Again, you take some greens, you throw them in a pot, and you boil them, and you throw some seasoning.
Yeah.
That's not, not only is it not rocket scientist, it's not a difficult concept with brilliant. Now, again, in defense of the people, and Violet, you could probably testify to this, I'm betting that you guys get all these foods pretty much already prepared, and you guys just basically heat them up, throw them in this, throw them in that, and then take them out and serve it to us, which is, basically a prepackaged food system disguised.
Oh, and I have to say,
as a cracked barrel.
His chicken fried steak also had like no crisp.
It was just
no crisp.
Fucking ridiculous.
No crisp. So I was disappointed.
Honey, I don't know when or where you worked, but if this was homemade, oh my fucking God.
Yeah. No.
Oh
it tasted.
God, like again,
burn,
I learned to cook at a young age, and this is no disrespect to anybody. I'm still gonna go on the element that they're giving you guys shitty ingredients to work with. Then I don't know, or whoever was in that kitchen just completely screwed the pooch, because it wasn't just one thing; it was just everything across the board, and that with the fucked up, Civil War atmosphere. Which was crazy because Rochester is a really diverse community. So the people that were all in the restaurant was a good mix. You had Hispanic, you had African Americans, you had us as your representative white folk, and
older.
You had some older, you had some younger,
you had some punk.
Well,
there was a little punk.
There's always punks everywhere, but
no, I mean
the point was. It was a really good mix of people. It wasn't a rowdy scene.
See, Violet's on my side.
You know what? Maybe it is the location. I guess there's a case to be made for that. Well, yeah. I can say without any hesitation, if you come up to Rochester, New York, you do not want to go to the fucking Cracked Barrel. Just don't do it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. I'm sorry.
You know why that decor doesn't bother me so much, even as creepy as it is?
Texas?
No, because it reminds me of my great uncle's general store. He had shit like that everywhere.
Oh, listen, I'm sure it's going to speak to people, and this is a good part comedy. Like I said, the service were great. The servers, the people there working were great people. They really were. Okay, that I have to give. They had a couple of neat things. Like, listen, I grabbed a couple of bottles of some old original Sioux City sarsaparilla. And for the boys, that's a treat. You don't get really to see that. Yeah, of course. Well, yeah. Violet's like, I expect New York to fuck it up. Thanks. I really thank you for that moment. Well, see, this is exactly what I want. This is the dynamic, that direct interaction. You're right. Leave it to New York to fuck it up. Who am I to say otherwise? I'm not even originally from New York, so why am I defending New York? Why do I feel compelled? Is it conditioning?
Could be.
Is it really?
I doubt it.
Because the Jets still suck, and they're always going to fucking suck.
Yeah.
Because of the region. See, I say that I fuck with Shiya all the time. I blame everything with Texas. I'm like, you're from Texas, honey. Nobody's perfect.
New York's got to have two teams and everything. The main team and the backup team. The Jets are the backup team.
I don't know about that, but okay. I'm sure Jets fans don't want to hear that shit.
I'm sure they don't.
But it's funny because me and my brother have that polar dynamic, and in New Jersey, you kind of fell within one of two schools. It was the Mets and the Jets, or the Giants and the Yankees. Yeah. I was always Giants, Yankees. He was always Jets and Mets, and I always used to joke with him when we were younger. It's like, yeah, man, you picked the fucking losing side. You know what I mean?
Oh, the Jets.
It's kind of what happened in the Civil War. You picked the wrong side. You decided slavery was cool. You got your ass kicked. Guess what? That's how it works when you fuck with people and you do stupid shit like that. I like to say, you play fucked up games, you win fucked up prizes. Let's show him what he's won.
I have seen a Mets and a Giants fan. You're right. That is so weird.
Just that oddball dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand, there is a good case to be made that, especially within these franchise chain establishments that, depending upon who's running it and who you got, I mean, granted, any restaurant, who you got in the kitchen, Gordon Ramsay will tell you, where's the fucking lamb sauce?
Throw this shit in the trash.
Now, again, I don't know that I agree per se with that school of thought. It makes great TV, though. I mean, I gotta tell you, I laugh pretty hard at some of that shit. Because Gordon just goes in there and he just doesn't give a fuck.
Nope.
And I think they've actually conditioned him to squeeze more of that contemptuous kind of assholery. Because I think people enjoy it. They're like, look at him. He's going to rip that guy a new asshole. Well, you know what I mean? And it is. It's a dynamic that's entertaining.
If you watch like Master Chef Junior with him around the kids, he's a whole nother dynamic. He's
listen, I've seen
nurturing and harsh but fair.
I've seen him do interviews, and I've seen him within some of the charity work he does. Yeah, obviously there's a different dynamic, his personal life than his quote unquote professional life. I know that even within the dynamics of myself, I won't lie. I'm a little bit of a different person when I go into performance mode. Some of it is pure self-defense. Okay. But some of it also is deflection. Some of it is insecurity. And some of it is just simply contempt. Don't touch my tail. You'll get it dirty. Yes, I have those moments. I will be honest. Now I'm working on them. I will, the witch here is helped me out a good deal with it. You know what I mean? Taught me some new tools.
I do it too.
And Jennifer says, yes, you can fuck up turnip greens.
I don't know what? How, except
I don't want to even know how that's possible.
Thankfully.
Yeah, Violet, you're probably right. She said she thinks the stuff like Hell's Kitchen is just a fake money-making persona of Ramsay. Yeah, that's like Kiss. They put the makeup on Alice Cooper. There's a lot of that, unfortunately, especially within Western culture.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They put on this facade, these personas of, you know what I mean? And in reality, it's something, completely different. Sometimes for better.
You're Ozzy. Sharon!
Or if you're Kim Kardashian and your only claim to fame is blowing basketball players. Hey.
Ha ha!
Survey says. Yes. It is approved. Again, perspective. Now, does that mean she's not entitled to blow random basketball players where she chooses? Yeah, she has that right. Does she have the right to capitalize and market that and brainwash millions of young women into believing that somehow this is a path forward? Not too sure about that. As the only woman in the room in the moment, why don't you give us your take on it of the vagina persuasion?
Dear.
Yeah.
I
went there. What are your thoughts? We're having a Kardashian moment.
Oh, dear. I am telling you, this woman is so full of herself, she gives toxic femininity a bad name. Toxic women are less toxic than this hoe.
Wow, tell us how you really feel.
Well, I mean, like you said.
Now you do realize you're throwing this out here.
I am. I'm throwing it out.
Cardi B might come after you now. You're fucking with her girl.
She might. And you know what?
We're getting into some deep water now.
Unrealistic expectations for young women. It gives a negative stereotype, and I believe it sets back women's rights and intelligence a lot.
I didn't say it.
And that she literally went out and had the chutzpah, I guess you want to call it,
Ooh.
to get Marilyn Monroe's fucking dress and ruin it just so she could wear it to a gala event? Okay, I don't care if it's the
I
golden
think that's
age or whatever.
arrogance and
That's
apathy. I don't think
arrogance
that's
and
exclusive to her per se.
no, but I mean, it's just like, okay, I mean,
But listen,
can I just say I think she's the ultimate Karen? I mean, seriously.
no, listen, I've seen some fucked up Karen stuff. I don't think she
And she's not that.
But
like,
here's my
aggressive
problem.
Karen, but she's a Karen of I don't give a shit about you.
Here is my dynamic, and again, I don't begrudge anybody what they do, but I have more respect for, I'm going to call it bluntly, prostitutes and porn star workers. They're honest about it. Hey,
Yeah.
I suck dick for a living. This is what I charge. But to frame a context around basically your claim to fame is having sex with somebody and then trying to segue it into all these other things, to me is disingenuous. You know what I mean? I don't believe it's fair to create that type of imagery because it's so much of it, as you said, is degrading, is demeaning, and it is really centered around one dynamic that unfortunately, in a realistic context, doesn't work in the real world.
No, it in
doesn't.
her little limited Kardashian world, sure, okay, go for you, but quit assuming it applies to everybody else.
Now, on the other side, I understand, Bruce woke up one morning, said, I've been on this fucking Wheaties box for so long, I just can't stand to look at myself in the mirror anymore. He picked up the phone, he made the call, he went in there, he went under the knife. They took the fucking root and stem, they put the implants in, and she was born. She was born. You know what I mean? Now, again, for me, growing up with those Wheaties boxes, that was a little freaky. I'm not going to lie. I don't begrudge him it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you did your whole thing. You know what I mean? This is something new. Okay. It's not really hurting anybody, I guess.
Yeah.
Per se. But as Jennifer says, when you
well,
frame that now against the whole family, you know what I mean? It makes like the Addams family look wholesome. Like, I'll take the fucking Addams family over the Kardashians any goddamn day of the week. I'll take the Munsters. I'll take the fucking Devil's Rejects. I'll take my chances with them fucking crazy fuckers
over the Kardashians.
Fuck yeah. At least I know what I'm dealing with. I know how to play against that element.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
That's true.
I hate to say it. Now, again, does that mean they shouldn't have the opportunity? Yeah, I suppose, but I think just as equally, especially when you
understand why
when you put yourself in the public eye, you have now, especially when you make a living off of it.
What does it say as a society, though, that this is what society idolizes?
Well, it's a fucking cracked barrel, is what it is. Kind of my point.
That is a point.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, here's the sign. It's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, again, you can make a case, as mentioned, that, okay, maybe over here in this section of the country, where they actually know how to make fucking... But I tell you what, I've been to a lot of restaurants in Rochester that know Southern cooking. They know how to make fucking biscuits. They know how to make fucking cornbread. They know how to make, basic elements of things.
Yeah. I need some good Southern cooking
I just don't understand how, again, a big place that's, got all this resource and, you know what I mean? They could fucking kick ass with that. But no, they chose instead... The joke I made after we left and stuff like that, I was like, it made me miss the days of Sizzler. Like, Sizzler was even fucking better. And any of you who remember Sizzler, whoever hated
Sizzler here.
You know what I mean? Know that, Sizzler was just like the poor man's meat shop.
They have a Sizzler.
Brother Matt, great to see you, brother.
Hey, Matt.
But yes, Matt, also being from Texas, will testify. There are dynamics of cooking that are unique to different areas, be it in the country or in the world.
Yeah.
That you know, if you don't know what the fuck you're doing,
I haven't
it just
had
doesn't translate. Let me tell you, I took one bite out of that fucking corn muffin, and I was just like, oh my fucking God.
He broke it. He said, like, here, taste
It's not.
And I'm like, this is like eating sand.
I don't even think there was corn in it. I don't know what it was made out of.
It tasted like moist sand. Seriously.
So I got a sand, flavor. Like I got a sand muffin?
I think you had a sand muffin that was masquerading
like
as a
fucking
corn
Star
muffin.
Wars? Are we on Tatooine?
Maybe. I mean, you might
some
get green
Jawa
milk
bullshit.
Next.
Some Jawa bullshit, man.
You might get some green milk coming up.
But let me tell you, you know, again, I didn't want to go to the degree of like, you know, going on their Google page and being like, all right, you all need to learn how to fucking cook. I just figured, you know what? I'll just rant about it on my podcast. You know what I mean?
Sitting in eating dinner, and I'm like, this is going to make it on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I knew it. I was just like, yeah, no.
And I asked him, what's the title today? Cracked Barrel. I'm like, oh, dear.
But, you know, again, there are aspects of things, and I think we've become conditioned. We've become apathetic to certain dynamics of things. You know, one of the other things, to give you another analogy from our trip, you know what I mean? Working in the studio sometimes goes into the later evening hours. And I used to, or at least I was conditioned from the last time around playing and stuff like that, at least within New Jersey, that there were a lot of, you know, late night places, a lot of 24-hour. I guess the pandemic really has just
messed with that.
Fucked a lot of things up that I am just now really beginning to notice.
Because you're getting out
places like, you know, full-blown restaurants are closing at like 8 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Diners.
And I'm like, what? It's a Saturday night. What the fuck? And especially, you know, in the middle of the summer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I understand that in the winter.
Jersey Shore, it's just like, what the hell is going on here?
Well, so
it was a struggle. We had to go out of our way to actually find a place that was actually fucking open past dark.
When we went to Atlantic City, that place was pretty much ghost town.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I understand within the dynamics, especially within the casinos. I don't blame people for not wanting to go throw their money away at fucking, you know, machines
where dreams go to die.
Yes, where dreams go to die. You can smell it. I tell you, I joked. I talked about this in a podcast after we came back. You could smell it, like, you know, just walking past these despondent, and it was mostly, the overwhelming majority were senior citizens. And it felt like they just bust them in and just left them there and just waiting for them to die. You know what I mean? Like, here, spend as much money as you can until it's over. You know what I mean? And it was really, it was disheartening. It was very dark. I had to make it comical, lest it become like, you know, the mouth of madness, because it really was, you know, just so disheartening.
Well, Monkey,
you know, and they were just fucking staring into these screens, pulling levers, and
Monkey got bitten by the bug for all of like a couple hours, and then realized,
he spent like $20, and he's like, "This is bullshit." I'm like, "Really? What clued you in?" You know what I mean? That casinos are somehow your friend.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, sand muffin is. I mean, it's Shiya's dynamic. You know what I mean?
It literally tasted like sand.
Pretty close to the fucking mark.
And their biscuits were like tasteless.
I mean, it was an all around.
And then I asked for a side of gravy, and the gravy was just this.
I don't know what that was. That wasn't gravy. It was something else. I think we called it schmegma back in the day. It's some unidentified organic substance.
Compound. Well, yes. I think it's what they called in the Army, shit on shingles.
No, that at least had a framework. Shit on a shingle is just basically it's just canned beef.
Well,
yeah, that's really what it is.
On toast.
Yeah, you know. Listen, done right, that shit's actually good.
See?
Well, listen, you need to come up here and figure out what the fuck they're doing, Violet. Because I gotta tell you, I'm disappointed. I'm upset. Okay.
I've been wanting to
I
get
feel
him there for a
violated.
year.
I feel dirty.
I've been trying to get him to go to this Cracker Barrel for over a year.
Yeah, that's the
And I'm
thing too.
like,
She's been
yeah,
pushing
it's
me
been
on
like,
it.
I want to go to Cracker Barrel. I want to go to Cracker Barrel.
And my instincts were like,
cooking.
no, this is a chain restaurant. This is bullshit. This is all a front.
Even
They all talk the talk.
there.
Oh, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And it's just, give me an old, like, I'm not going to lie. Give me a hole in the wall, you know what I mean, downtown. You know what I mean? With a woman that's 89 years old that just came off the fucking boat.
I just need a good
She knows how to
steak.
fucking cook, man.
I just want me a good chicken fried steak.
Okay.
Maybe some dumplings.
Listen, this could be also a post-pandemic element. I mean, the first thing you saw when we walked into the place was this huge fucking sign. Now hiring. Come join our team. We'd love to talk to you. I mean, it's a common thing I hear and read all over the place. Just people don't want to work this type of stuff.
I was in BJ's
They don't want to be dishwashers. They don't want to wait on people. They don't want to clean toilets. They don't want to do none of this stuff anymore. They're fucking sick and tired.
Yeah, I was in BJ's the other day, and I was really lucky to get you deli meat because they were
Nobody wants to work at the deli.
They were closing the deli because the one girl was 40 minutes over her shift and had a medical reason. She needed to get off her feet, was in pain, whatever. And the people who were supposed to work it did a no-call, no-show.
Yeah. Welcome to the wonderful world we live in. I think Jennifer nailed it, but probably indirectly, because I think you're right. Those biscuits were lard, buttermilk, and the flour. That's probably, I think that's the dynamic. I think they just scraped something off the floor in lieu of flour.
I normally love their biscuits.
And that's their interpretation of a fucking biscuit.
Love their biscuits.
See, you know what? Sometimes the universe works out the way it was. Just that little, just autocorrect spell fuck up type of thing, I think is the truth. I think Jennifer nailed it.
Yep, she meant to say flour, but flour is probably
the flour.
More apt.
You should never listen again. Cooking 101. Never add the flour to a dish.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Violet, I really would love to have those fucking biscuits. You know, that's really not helping my situation. Talking about how great they fucking are everywhere else, except where I live. The only place that I can go,
well,
of course, happens to be the place that isn't fucking amazing, that uses the actual flour in their biscuits.
When we go to Texas, we'll hit a real cracker.
Look at everybody. Matt says it. Everybody's like fucking...
Yeah, see? I told you, they're really good.
Everybody's like, it's great here. So how did they fucking... Is it really just a New York thing?
Yeah, I think.
Wow. All right. then I need to have a conversation with somebody in power to be like, hey, what's happening?
I blame the Cuomo family.
Wow, that was a deep shot. That was a why?
Why? Because everybody blames them for everything.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna jump on an imaginary political bandwagon.
Exactly, because they get blamed for everything.
All right, I'm gonna cancel your witch ass. I'm not even gonna fly
just because they're a great scapegoat and everybody blames them already. So
Kathy, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Listen, regardless of whatever you think about their politics, this, that, or the other thing. I have to now, I think, equate this to some of this post-pandemic element. You know what I mean? Because that seems to be the common denominator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Having a much harder time finding not only people to work, but qualified people to work.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm going to have to go out to wherever the fuck y'all are and try a Cracker Barrel that isn't cracked.
Yeah.
I guess.
That one was definitely.
Listen, I'm open-minded to it. Again, my first instinct was like, yeah, no. I couldn't tell you why. But it's the same reason I avoid places like Applebee's and shit like that. I just, I look at these as kind of like this prepackaged food crap, like, Olive Garden and stuff that You know, because it's the same dynamic that Wawa does. It just all comes in big bags, and they throw it in the back, and they heat it up.
For some reason, the Wawa
at 1:30 in the morning when you're fucking stoned out of your mind, it's the best thing in the fucking world.
You know what the best thing in the fucking world was?
What was the best thing in the world?
Those pork roll, egg, and cheese sandwiches the monkey made for us for our
Well, that's because Monkey made them.
But, you know, here's the thing. He makes us this beautiful pork roll, egg, and cheese, wraps it all up so we can eat it while we're driving down to Jersey. Okay, we eat that. We pull off to the side of the road. Oh man, it was so damn good. And then while we're there,
we got the sandwich from one of the local places.
Yeah, and a provincial Jersey pork roll, egg, and cheese. And it was like half the sandwich.
Listen again, that's an old wives' tale. You know, again, and depending upon any particular deli you go to, you may get something good, you may get something fucking half-assed. So. You know what I mean? That's the same analogy like Jersey Mike's. Like the original Jersey Mike sub shops made fucking great subs. I've heard from many people that many of those franchise places, they'll never fucking eat at again. They'd rather go to a fucking Subway. And Subway sucks as far as subs go.
They give you lettuce sandwiches. You have to pay extra if you actually want meat on.
Again, I think some of it's apathy. And again, some of it I think is this post-pandemic. You know, again, places closing at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. You know, I don't believe that I'm that old that this, you know, I remember this 4 or 5 years ago still, you know, doing shows with the band. You know, we would do a gig, we'd get out 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there was at least a couple of places you could choose to go get something to eat. Mm-hmm. Now it was just like, you know, basically, here's a fucking vending machine. You know?
Pretty much.
Fucking no.
Nothing's open anymore.
No.
Nope.
So, yeah. Crazy shit. But, you know, how do we, you know, again, gauge certain dynamics? Now, for most people, I would say, that's a one-off thing. I'm usually the type of person, if I go into a place and I have a shitty experience, you're not getting me to come back. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just like, well, you know, you fucked me once, hey, you know. No. You know, my tendency is just like, well, you fucked me once. I'm not bending over again. Sorry. You know, trust has to be earned.
Should have used lube.
Well, that's a different story. And thank you for segueing into that oddly horrifying moment.
Hey, you're the one who was talking about getting fucked, so I just had to do it.
But, you know.
I had to do it.
But this was in you know.
I'm a cheeky witch.
I know you are a cheeky witch. I just, you know, again, using the Carlin school of thought, you know what I mean? That dynamic is rampant. We see it all over the place within all different levels of our society. Everything is geared towards this disposable bullshit kind of, hey, buy 5,000 of these. You know what I mean? It'll make your hair more vibrant. It'll make your cock bigger.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's all bullshit. They want your money. Casinos are at least, hey, there's a chance you might get something back.
And again, there's a chance you might not.
You know, drug dealers are like, no, just fuck it, man. Just escape. Here, smoke this.
Everybody's got their stick.
Prostitutes are like, let me suck that out of you, baby. You'll forget about it, at least for a few minutes. Till the good time's over.
Yeah. That's the thing.
You know, preachers and religious people, they're like, here, let me fill you with the Spirit. Or as Father Flanagan likes to say, hey, come sit on my lap, laddie.
We'll talk about the first thing that pops up.
Give me your belt. So yeah, you know, depending upon what side of the street you're on, any particular dynamic in the moment, somebody's trying to sell you something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Even to the degrees what we do. We do our promotional things. Hey, you know, our friend Ashley, you know, Bobby and Sherry, Suzanne, Tony, you know what I mean? You know, we try to support each other within
on a local
level, the dynamics of what we can, strengthen numbers, you know, support small business. America! And there is a case to be made. You know what I mean? You want to change the dynamics of things, Don't buy shitty things made in fucking China. It's not difficult. Spend a couple extra dollars. Go to the local mom and pop hardware store. Spend an extra 3 cents on your fucking nails. Okay?
Yep.
I know, again, we all want what we want, but if we're not part of the solution by default, then we're part of the fucking problem. Now, does that mean that everybody go sell their shit and buy electric cars? Fuck no, because they still don't know what the fuck they're doing. Is it a good idea? Yes, if we could find a way to do it correctly. I'm cool with it.
They won't.
But in the same instance, we have to be realistic about certain things. You know what I mean? I personally think if you took all the money from all this fucking Honey Boo Boo Kardashian reality series stupidity insanity and used that to build places for homeless people to live, I think that'd be a good start. But
Yeah,
you're not going to see any of those characters being like, hey, take my show, take my money.
Yep.
Yeah, nah.
We need our entertainment.
They won't get paid. Uh-huh. And it's really easy, to talk about it. Hey, this is what you should do. Because they said you should.
Jennifer, yeah, it's definitely more humid the where you're at, and more humid where we're at than it is in Fort Worth. One of the big things is I can put up with the heat in Fort Worth a bunch better than when it's the same amount of heat here.
Well, this is, again, the dynamics of what's going on around us in the world. Mm-hmm. Not there's anything to say here, folks. The earth is flat.
Tropical heat wave.
Listen, it's going to get weirder. There's no way around it. You know what I mean? I don't want to go full out Mangala and, but population being what it is, you know what I mean? Infinite amount of expansion, but limited amount of resources. Listen, I saw a story the other day. There was a city out towards Las Vegas, one of the counties that are just like they're about ready to run out of water.
Really?
You know what I mean? Oh, listen, the Midwest is a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
With those dynamics. And there are a lot of places dynamically that are shifting. Eastern Kentucky just got fucking hammered with flooding. It was like 20 some odd people, unfortunately, died. And think about that. We live in a world where people still die from flash flooding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there are some dynamics, obviously, especially if you look at certain areas of the country along the Mississippi River as an example, which is notoriously prone
to flooding. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well, because it has so many input sources.
Well, Sam Kinison made a joke way back in the day, and I think some of the edgier elements, that number may have been growing, Jennifer. I don't know. I haven't followed it really super heavy. It just, unfortunately, we all become conditioned. It's just so much chaos, this blowing up here, that, boom, boom, this shit, that shit. It's hard to keep track of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, Sam Kinison made a joke, and it was kind of a statement within the joke. It's just like, how long have we known that certain areas are prone to certain things? Use the analogy of Pompeii. Well, you built your city in the fucking base of a fucking active volcano. What did you think was going to fucking happen? So, yeah, they go through the cycle. Something comes through, 3 or 4 years, washes everybody away, a bunch of people die, they come back, we're going to build again. We're going to stay strong. And they build again 3 or 4 years later, same shit happens, bunch more people. We're going to stick it through because this is America. And, after a couple generations of this, it's like, fucking move away from the fucking river. Okay, the river's not going to change. You have feet. Okay, you can fucking move your ass somewhere where the food is. Yes. Thank you, Brother Matt. Yes, it's the analogy when he's talking about, the feeding, the whole thing. It's just like, we keep bringing you food. God, it really is.
Yep.
And, again, wouldn't it be cheaper to move them out of the desert someplace where there's a McDonald's? I know that sounds fucked up, but I mean, Jesus Christ, we could feed half the world with the shit that we throw out on a daily basis.
Unfortunately, true.
But we have standards where, well, we don't want anybody potentially getting sick, so we're just going to sit here and watch them die of starvation.
Because that's somehow better.
Because that absolves us from the liability. It's not my fault they starve, but God forbid they should get diarrhea from an old cheeseburger, which I don't know about most people. I'll take diarrhea over death.
Yeah, I think I would.
You know,
I think so.
Personally, you live to shit another day.
Yes.
Okay. Is it a perfect solution? No. But there are some dynamics, especially that have been going on for a while, that you just have to look at and say, you know what? We've been talking about this shit for fucking how long? How many years have we been spinning around in circles? You know what I mean? One of the great ones, and I know my brother Matt is very vocal in this dynamic, is in regards to guns. You know what I mean? Guess what? You're never going to get rid of all the guns. There's no sense in pretending. It's not going to happen. Okay? Never going to happen. Okay? The only way that those guns are going to go anywhere is somebody invents new and better laser guns that people are going to upgrade to.
And then you're still going to have the
But the context of weapons are as old as human history. If it's not a gun, it's a fucking rock. Okay? If it's not a rock, if I don't have anything convenient, I'm going to wrap my hands around your throat. If I have no hands, I'm going to shove my dick down your throat. I'm going to kill you with whatever means at my disposal. That is the human equation. Unfortunately, that's the ugly truth. Okay? Or as Charlton says, guns don't kill people. Apes with guns kill people.
Get your sticking paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
Now, I don't want it to have to go down like that, but also in the same analogy, let's have an honest conversation. Let's stop playing semantics. Let's stop dancing around elements of things.
Hey, Jonathan.
Is not going to change. So let's look at the dynamics of the things that we can. Yeah, and you know what? There is a good case to be made. A disarmed society is a subjugated society. You know what I mean? And we've seen that dynamic, unfortunately, play itself out in other places in the country and other places in the world. Yep. And I say in our country, because you use the analogy of what happened to Native Americans, they were basically a disarmed society. Granted, they had bows and arrows, but they didn't really stand a chance against, a million white guys with fucking guns. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, within their dynamic, they had never really dealt with that type of invasive element. So they had no framework really to combat it. And by the time they did, it was too late. You know what I mean? But you could make that case in any number of analogies throughout history, throughout the world, for a variety of different reasons. I mean, again, violence is not exclusive to guns. You know what I mean? So, you look at other places in the world and say, well, yeah, they don't have people shooting each other. No, they have other dynamics of things that are violence oriented. You know what I mean? And me personally, I mean, again, if you're going to give me the nonsensical choice between dealing with the guy maybe who's got the gun or the guy who's got the suicide bomb strapped to his back, or the guy that's walking around with a hypodermic needle, filled with some fucking anthrax, or any number of, or the guy in New York that's just running around smearing his shit in people's faces. True story, okay? There's a guy in New York City that was running around smearing his shit. You just run up to somebody and smear his own shit in their face.
Why?
Like, hey, how you doing? Here, taste this. How's it smell? Oh, peace out. Gotta run.
Why?
True story.
They caught him, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they caught him.
Why was he doing it?
Because it's fucking nuts. Listen, unfortunately, again, our biggest problem with some of the dynamics is our mental health system. That you have people that, for whatever reason, have gone so far off the fucking deep end that they're running around on the streets smearing shit in people's faces or pushing people in front of oncoming trains or any number of the horrible analogies that happen. And because they're little blips on the radar, most people don't notice them unless it happens in your backyard or somebody that you know. And then all of a sudden it becomes real. Holy shit. Do you hear what happened to Susie? Some fucking drugged out fucking psychopath pushed her and followed a fucking train. What kind of fucking world do we, again, it becomes personal.
Yeah.
Now it's like, what the fuck? And, I'll be the first one to admit it. I'm definitely part of that dynamic. I try to be more empathic to people around me, even if I don't know them to the degree, even if I don't understand it, or more importantly, even if I don't agree per se, because we all experience things. And I've said it before, and I continue to try and frame this, that we're never going to all agree about everything. It's never going to happen, but we should be able to find common ground on the things that are important. We need to change as a society, as groups, not only in how we interact, but how we really take those dynamics into play, to really look at it from somebody else's perspective, to try not only again to frame it, but to feel it. You know what I mean? Now, some things obviously, and this is one of my go-tos, they're outside the box. They're beyond the thing. So if your thing is, if you're a charter member of fucking NAMBLA and you're just like, hey, everybody's being inclusive, so I want to fuck little boy. No, fuck you. You don't get to be a part of it because you fuck little boys. You got to go. Okay? Certain things, no. You do not compromise. There is no way around it. Okay? I'm sorry. And if that means that some people have to get herded and sent to Kansas and, we build the fence and we just let them fuck each other up, then so be it. It's the lesser of the two evils. But the rest of it, we can. Matt, I'm gonna read what Matt said for anybody who's not able to actually see the chat. Matt says, I have a feeling that might be a byproduct of being crammed together in a densely populated area with no trees, grass, or breathing room. People crave nature, but don't get it. They get frustrated, and then they start to self-seclude and take out their anger on each other. That's a great analogy, and it's definitely a variable. I think, the bigger dynamic is that we have so many of these variables that are leading to elements of anger and frustration. I think you and we've had conversations, offline about this. There's so many fucking dynamics that are just coming at people from this point, that point. Oh, it's this, it's that. This person's fucking that person, you know what I mean? Poison this, yada, and it's just a nonstop assault. It really literally is sometimes the mouth of madness that I think most of us are just like, we don't even want to turn on the TV. We don't want to look at the newspaper. Just leave me the fuck alone.
We're all overstimulated from a lot.
I don't want to hear anymore. Mm-hmm. And you can't blame people to certain degrees. They want to take care of their own. They want to raise their kids. They just want to live. You know what I mean? They don't want to hurt anybody per se. You know what I mean? And, to some degrees, and we already know this is true, a lot of these elements are conditioned because Bob the Builder said it, because Father Francis said it, therefore it must be true. So you have these conditioned elements where, some people use the sheep analogy, but I, again, like to really more look at it as, this kind of comfortability zone. People don't want to be offensive, and they're like, well, Bob's a good guy. You know what I mean? He comes to church every Sunday. You know what I mean? He makes a great fucking cornbread. You know, Bob knows how to build a shed, so he's a builder. So maybe he does. And it creates a bit of a quandary that, again, we take certain things for granted. We assume certain things. We look at things from a particular angle. You say potato, I say potato. You say civic disturbance, I say insurrectionist. You know what I mean? And it isn't fair because, and again, if you look at it from the human dynamic, everybody that's involved is there for their context. And not all of it is aligned. Not all of it is nefarious or this or that. But what we do see is a common repeating dynamic where certain people, we'll just call them the people on top, continually manage to manipulate and dance around while everybody else, we'll just call that the rest of us, are the ones actually digging the ditches, that are actually picking up the garbage, making the food, building the machines, doing all the dynamics of the things that actually make the world go round. And that disconnect, if history has proven anything, and we've seen it time and time again, the Jews didn't leave Egypt because they had a good pension plan. They're fucking slaves. They had enough. They said, fuck you. We're done. We'd rather walk out into this endless desert and die than deal with this bullshit anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did. And then they prospered and moved on. French Revolution, American Revolution, the Russian Revolution, all these revolutions, what do they have in common? People being sick and fucking tired.
I'm mad as hell.
Sick and fucking tired of the people on top basically fucking the rest of us.
Without Luke.
I have come to claim my right of prima nocta. Please bend over. No, those days, they have to end. And if, again, using the history analogy, civilizations tend to flow within this dynamic. And when this particular dynamic is left unchecked and unbalanced, every civilization beforehand has collapsed. Should that be a warning? Should that be like, a check engine light that says, maybe we should look at this? Jen made
Danger, Will
a
Robertson.
great statement, and it is the paradox, the irony. If we don't learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it.
True.
That is the classic definition of insanity. Repeating the same behavior, expecting different results.
Yep.
So if we don't change certain dynamics, they won't, by default, go away. They're not going to stop. Now, granted, you know what I mean? We can disagree, on certain dynamics of things. I feel very strongly about certain elements of things, so I speak to them. Okay? And I try to speak to them as honestly as I can, but I'll be the first one to admit I have some biases based on my conditioning, based on my experiences, the things I've seen, the things that I've heard, the things I've tasted, I've smelled. There are certain things you smell. Once you smell it, you can't. What the fuck is that smell?
Can't you smell that?
Oh my God. No. That's just me. Now, I mentioned this, and I mentioned it a lot, but I think it's apt. Take what you need. Leave the rest behind. That is one of the beautiful gifts that we have, at least within the dynamic of our culture. If you don't like what somebody's saying, you don't have to listen. If you're watching a show and you don't think it's funny, you can turn it off. You can change the channel. Same thing with the radio. You can change the fucking channel. You don't have to. You don't
Unless,
have
of
to
course,
like it. You don't have to agree with it.
unless, of course, you're on the internet and somebody puts something on their own personal Facebook page that is in total contrary to what you believe, then it is your moral obligation to become the keyboard warrior and troll the shit out of them.
You know, listen, everybody that knows me knows that I very rarely will go do that because, again, it really is.
It's no point. Just scroll past.
Yes. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. Sometimes shit needs to be said.
Sometimes.
You know what I mean? And listen, we're all guilty of it sometimes, for whatever reason. It'll trigger us. Trigger!
Yep.
And we're compelled. I get it. But I also like to believe, you know, that we are capable, or at least I hope, of taking that extra moment and saying, is it, or as the analogy, is the juice worth the squeeze? Not always.
We used to be.
Listen, again, the old analogy, throwing fuel on fire, you know what I mean, just tends to make shit worse. But I think we all know, and this is not reflective of anybody here or anything like that. But I'm sure we've all encountered the dynamic. Some people like conflict. They thrive. They're human parasites in that. They want the drama. They want somebody. Please pay attention to me because I have no real significance in this world. So I'll create one to make you see me, to hear me, and here, smell that.
I'm just picturing something like an Emperor Palpatine living in his mother's basement. That's what I've got in my head with that.
Again, I've seen it, but it's easy sometimes to, especially, let's be honest, online, you know what I mean? Words sometimes don't always, this dynamic, carry the true meaning. We use Jen's, the analogy joke. She wanted to say flower, but it ended up as floor. Now, I think it was a better analogy because I think those fucking corn muffins were really floor muffins, or sand muffins, as you call them. But again, the subtlety of one or two letters in changing the dynamic of a word, and some words, blue, you know what I mean? They're interchangeable. So when you're just dealing with just flat out words, now granted you got all the emojis, so you can spice it up with some shit emojis or some tongue-in-cheek ones or toxic skeletons or whatever but it doesn't really convey dynamic. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard unless you're be like, footnote, this is sarcasm, may not always be translated. And I had to learn that initially because, my mind works on a particular frequency. So as you said, I'm just like type. And then, a friend of mine was like, what were you trying to say? I'm like, well, it's real simple. Dun, 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 dun. But it didn't translate.
Well, text doesn't.
Because I was referencing something within my own reality, my mind, that unless you actually had that particular little dynamic, if you knew to draw the dot between there and here, there was no fucking way you were going to get it. You know what I mean? So, again, sometimes it'll just shoot over somebody, and then they'll react. But like, what? You trying to say I'm fucking stupid?
Or you say
PEMDAS! PEMDAS, what the fuck is that?
Or you say something and it triggers somebody, and they take everything before and after in the most negative light possible. I've seen that too.
I'm sure that I'm sure that somewhere, at some point in time, some drunken Irish ex-priest is going to catch one of my diddling Father Flanagan jokes. Hey, little boy, come over here. And it's going to trigger the fuck out of them.
Probably.
Do I feel bad? No.
Or a Scientologist.
Well,
I can see you
Scientologist.
I can see you triggering Scientologists.
Scientology, I think it's just the evolution of the used car salesman. You know what I mean? Not unlike how, slugs kind of evolved into something else. I think,
are you equating Scientology?
I don't know. Again,
my God.
I think, they've been smoking something too much. But listen, it's a great little scam. You know,
I think we should
basically,
smoke
listen,
more.
it's legalized slavery under the fucking guise and umbrella of an organized religion.
Give me
You know,
that
they're like,
old
hey,
time
we're gonna
religion.
hide under the religious banner and come over here so we can fuck you and take your money and enslave you. Ha ha ha.
But it's
Oh,
only,
wait for the spaceships to come to take your spirits back to the volcano.
it's only 10,000 years.
Only 10,000 years.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that in the scheme of a human lifetime? And that's not to take a shot within the dynamics of past lives. It's not what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But if we're going to have an honest conversation, within the framework of this life today, I don't feel comfortable with 100 years, let alone 10,000 years. So go fuck yourself. I'm not signing anything. And to me, that is the obvious giveaway that this is some bullshit. That this is just some made up fucking Scooby-Doo fucking Saturday morning cartoon shit. Somebody was really stoned and said, hey, wouldn't it be really funny to get people to sign a 10,000-year contract, make them slaves, take all their money, make them believe it's some bullshit while we sit in the back, drink beers, and fucking live off their money and have a really great time. Ha ha ha.
They said it was Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise said, I
Well,
can do
fucking
that.
Tom Cruise doesn't give a shit. He's got, you know what I mean? He's got all the money. Listen, I think personally to deal with Tom is, you know, not unlike in the zoo, you know, how like they have to feed the lions.
Yeah.
I think they periodically have to throw him human sacrifices.
I mean,
I don't know to what degree. I don't know if Tom's fucking them, he's eating them, if he's like
fava beans
if he's like squeezing them in his Cuisinart to get like that really all natural juicing experience. You know, who the fuck knows? I'm not privy to this information because I'm not a member. So I'll never get that inside information.
They're involved with aliens. They might be involved.
I know a whole lot of motherfuckers are running from that place saying, he fucked me, he touched me. So that's usually a bad sign. You know what I mean? When you have multiple women, I'm sorry. I like Danny Masterson. I thought he did great on the 70s show. But when you have like dozens of women saying, listen, he drugged me, he fucked me without, you know what I mean? You gotta go, bro. I don't give a fuck what church you belong to. And if that's reflective of your church, maybe you and the church need to fucking go. Because the oldest and the biggest of the church is equally as fucked up, and I think it needs to go too. So this is an exclusive. I'm not saying, hey, just because you're a Scientologist, I think all those dynamics within the scope, not spirituality, okay, that's separate. But the organized dynamic within the Vatican, the organized dynamic within the Church of Latter-day Saints, the organized dynamic within Scientology, they're all, again, that single, solitary human cancer, and I hate to use the word, but that is the only word that comes to mind, that to consume, to exploit, to manipulate, greed, all the 7 deadly sins, just wrapped up and disguised as dogma and rhetoric. And it's just bullshit. Always has been, always will be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, y'all better hope Jesus don't come back.
He's going to fuck some people up.
Because he's going to have some typical...
And again, that's why I always make the point. That does not reflect spirituality. There are many people who are deeply spiritual that walk the walk, that spend their lives truly trying to help others, guide others, enlighten them, take care of them, and love them. And that's a beautiful thing, regardless of whatever banner it is done under, because it's now a context of deeds. It's a context of action versus just a bunch of fucking empty words.
Yeah.
Cracker, cracker, I love you more than Jesus. Yeah. Teach a parrot to fucking recite that shit. It don't mean a fucking thing. It means nothing. Nada, nada, nada. So yeah, sometimes you find yourself in a cracked barrel. That's how these conversations end up that way. So again, one of the dynamics that I'm going to create, Shia is going to create a graphic that we'll use for next time. But if you guys have ideas for stories, personal experiences, your what the fuck Tuesday thing, you know what I mean? You were at McDonald's and some crazy fucking junkie, jumped out of a 3-story building and then rocketed back up to the top in a pile of his own shit. You know what I mean? I don't care how fucking ridiculous it is. Now, again, keep in mind within certain dynamics of things, okay? Like, you got to think about your state and local laws. So, we're obviously not going to get into any bestiality elements, okay? So, that's kind of off limits. I just want to qualify a couple things. Anything that is not comedy related, like, again, I'll make a joke about Father Flanagan fucking the altar boys, but definitely don't come at us with some NAMBLA shit. And for those of you who don't know what NAMBLA is the North American Man-Boy Love Association, which is basically an organized group.
Pedophile ring.
It's a pedophile ring, yeah, basically. But they're an actual organized group that actually lobbies on dynamics of things. They actually have a lobbyist and all that shit to try and change the atmosphere and environment and perceptions regarding grown men fucking little boys. Yeah, fuck you. Okay?
Shit.
Fuck you, fuck NAMBLA, fuck all that shit. No. We're not playing that fucking game. You can take all that spin rhetoric and you can jam it up your ass. Because, yes, thank you. Those guys should all be shot. I'm not going to say what they'd be shot with because we don't want to create any violent dynamics. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real organization out there. You know what I mean?
It's a real thing.
And it's an unfortunate reality.
Look it up. It's
that,
scary.
within the hidden darker corners of our world, that there are people that actually think that this is somehow acceptable behavior. Now, again, it doesn't help when you have underlying elements of like the Catholic Church that basically have been doing this for generations. Violent. Not violent. Violent. As in, dynamic. See? That goes to my point. The subtleties of a word. I say violent, you hear violent because you're the violet hierophant. That makes sense. You know what I mean? There's a correlation. You can actually explain this one. This is not Mission Impossible where, yeah, see? But listen, it happens. Again, I'm rambling on. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And, sometimes a word, I'll fuck up. That's the beauty of this live show. I'll say all kinds of stupid shit and I'll forget words. I'll stutter. You know what I mean?
It's my show. I'll shit myself.
Shiya grabs my tongue, tries to stick it in her ass. I'm like, no, I'm trying to do a podcast, damn it. Yeah.
Service me.
Shit like that. She's a nasty witch, too.
Who, me? I'm sweet.
But nasty in a good way. See, that's, again, the context of words. You could use nasty. God damn, that cornbread's nasty.
Yeah?
Be like, baby, you're nasty. Again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, listen, again, there are elements of things that I also agree that once certain lines are crossed, you know what I mean, you have to look at the greater good, and especially within the framework of, we'll just call it predatory behavior. There's, it's not unlike, when you have an infection in your body, you take medicine that isolates it and kills it. Yep. So that way you can shit it out and be done and go on with your life. That's nature's process. I think we can learn a thing or two from nature's process. That's just me. That's just me. But listen, it was a lot of fun. We're going to close out tonight with one of the tracks that Matt and I did. One of the tracks that myself and the boys, A Pocket Full of Wolves, will be performing at this year's Orcs for Autism event. We will be performing it live, and it will be going out into circulation on iHeartRadio with WRAT. Really looking forward to that. Matt, brother, if you're still out there, I will let you know when that actually hits the airwaves, so that way you can enjoy. You definitely had a part in it, my friend. So, all credit where credit is due. For those of you who don't know, that gentleman, Matt Brown, that was here engaging with us, is the singer. He's the guy who sung on all of these tracks, with the exception, obviously, of the tracks I played from Greg. But all the tracks that I released through the Old Wolf, Matt's the voice. Matt is the singer. And he wrote a good part of some of those tracks, because yours truly just ran into a fucking brick wall. And also in, fairness, in the creative dynamic, a lot of this I had written as instrumental. So they didn't have frameworks at the time. They had story ideas, they had concepts, but they didn't have some of the nuanced details. And that's where Matt came in.
Yep.
And specifically, well, I'll use the specific analogy. Keep on talking. Keep on talking are Matt's words. He translated the dynamic of that song, of what I was looking to create with it, and fucking hit a home run out of the ballpark with it, as far as I'm concerned.
Jazz, too. He really
Blue Jazz, he did that one as well.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But he also took the dynamics of the words that I wrote, like Demons and Mama Rocks, and really brought them out.
Yes.
So,
amazing singer.
Hats off, props again to my brother. Thank you again, as always. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Till next time. We're going to close out, like I said, with a little bit of music. So we're going to go to the Just Like Me. And I know I got to do it from, here we go. So we're going to click that off. So yeah, we're going to jump out there. Yeah, don't worry about it, Violet. You know what I mean? Like, dislike, potato, you'll be back. We know, it's all good.
Hit the like button, it takes away the dislike.
No big deal. So yeah, we're gonna go there, and then I may pop out one more. But until next time, know that you're loved, love each other, and have a good one. Keep on talking, people. Keep on talking.